or the door or the awning or whatever it is that has the address. I'm looking, is that the thing? And I'm looking for an address. I'm looking for, whatever it might be, 8700. I'm looking and squinting. It's 87. Is that it? And behind me, the guy, he's the guy behind me. Big, fat, hurry, this guy. And, my wife says, well, look at the street sign. Okay, you're going to see 8800 block. Boom, you know where you are, right? I said, yeah, but nobody's got a stinking address. What's the story with addresses? Why can't they put address up there? And address. Looking at, you ever notice that? You're going down a boulevard, man. Where's the damn number? I'm looking. I have gone blocks, miles, looking for a number. There's a number, and you're 86 blocks away from where you were. I'm looking for 8700, and I see 8500, and I see 8600, and suddenly there's no 8700 for 10 blocks, and finally I'm up to 9500. Now I got to turn, squinting and looking. So that's how I spent a majority of my afternoon there in the great city, and I do mean it, the great city of Beverly Hills, California. Squinting at the signs and driving my little car with all of those nice-looking wheels, good-looking rods and rides they have in Beverly Hills, and the marvelous, what do you call it, a trattoria? What the hell is a trattoria anyway, Mike? Is that an Italian restaurant, a trattoria? Is that a luncheon? Is that Italian for lunch? Is that Italian for automat or something? Trattoria? They got trattorias, they got pizzerias, they have coffee places, marvelous restaurants. RJ's for Ribs is there. I just go by some of my favorite places, Nate and Al's. And clothing stores, certainly. Go in, pop in, get yourself a $2,000 sweater. It's a great, beautiful, and scenic city. But, man, I can't see jack. My eyes getting worse. And squinting up at these signs. So anyway, I finally find where I'm going to, and I go inside the thing, and it turns out that it's the wrong thing, and I shouldn't have been there. And I'd love to go into it with you, but it involves a potential sponsor, and I don't. They're wonderful people, but I don't really want to talk about them behind their back without them defending themselves. So anyway, I walked in, and they were going to sponsor. They were going to buy some time on the show, and I walked in, and it wasn't what I thought it would be. And I said, well, you know what, I can't do this. And they said, well, okay, I guess if you can't do it. And so I split and got here to the station, and one of the salespeople came to me and said, what the hell happened? I said, well, I can't do it. Well, they're really mad at you. I said, well, I'm sorry if they're mad at me, but I'm not going to do it. The show is just, I do a certain thing on my show. My credibility is already twisting in the breeze as it is. The one spot where I should have some credibility, I think, is in the commercials that I do on the show, and so that's why I can't, at this particular time, endorse this particular product that they wanted me to. But it was just one of those days, and not bad. I'm not complaining. I love my life. I am, but it's like that, man. And hungry and popping speed and doing all the things that I needed to do to get through the day. But that came to this wonderful place. We are going to...
乘客們，你哋好，多謝你哋與 Hendrie 先生一齊飛行。我哋現在正係響3萬尺高空中飛翔。順便告訴大家 ，Captain， 我哋今晚嘅特別嘉賓係 Jackie Chan 先生，仲有一齊嘅係 Fortune Cookie。And now, here's Phil.
Good evening, Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. I start the show this evening having spilled a cup of coffee on the table in front of me, and it's just another one of those reasons why we're not going to work out of the studio any longer. There's no workspace here, and it never has been. God, I hate starting a show belly aching, but you know what? It just seems like it's gotten worse in the last... Am I... That's good, Mike. Get me 2 napkins for a lake. Oh, good, okay. I spilt like a cup of coffee, so in other words, I've got Lake Michigan sitting in front of me, and Mike comes back with a piece of tissue paper. Will this help? You can hear it. Listen to Schaefer breathing. This is guy breathing, man. Okay, dude, I'll do it. That's not your job, okay? You're a producer, all right? You're not, you're no chick. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I've gotten worse as the days progress toward my departure from our studios at KFI Radio in Los Angeles to our permanent home at Premier Radio on the west side of town, I've gotten worse in terms of being able to deal with these small Today, I just chewed somebody out, man. I mean, I lit into somebody. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. And I talk about sounding like an old man. It was some of the younger people work at the station. They were like, I don't know, what would you say? They were kind of flirting with each other. And I went, and why don't you people take that out of here? They were just flirting with it. It was one of the guys and one of the women on the staff here. And I said, I'm at the computer, I'm working, and she's like hitting on this guy. And I said, go buy him a drink. I must have sounded like just a wrinkled up old creep. There was that, and this problem I had with a sponsor today. And now I come in here and I spill coffee, and it's almost as if you know what I'm saying, man? It's like I've got gallstones or something, or I'm sitting on hemorrhoids or this problems. I feel pretty good. But it's one of the reasons, like I said, why we're leaving here. There's no workspace here. And as a result, I poured a gallon of coffee right down my crotch here with just about 3 seconds into the show. Nice, red, piping, scalding hot coffee. I poured about 2 quarts worth right down my pants. Nice, hot, scalding coffee. You know what I'd like to do with a cup of scalding coffee? I think I'll just pour it right into my crotch. That is an awesome idea. And then I'll sue myself. Okay, what? Yeah, that's great, Mike. Thanks. He doesn't give me my copy. We're going to have to hang this up on a clothesline, man. Look at this thing. May I remind you, this coming Saturday, I will be at the Sit and Sleep store, the Mattress Superstore in Tarzana at 19119 Ventura Boulevard. We're south of the 101 between Tampa and Reseda. That's this coming Saturday between noon and 3. We're going to be signing the Best of the Phil Hendrie Show 1999 CD. For only $20, you'll get a CD signed by me, and all the proceeds go to a great charity, My Friend's Place, a resource center for homeless and runaway youth. That's going to be this coming Saturday between noon and 3 at the Sit and Sleep Mattress Superstore in Tarzana. That's 19119 Ventura Boulevard, just south of the 101 freeway between Tampa and Reseda. We're going to be signing an extra hour. We're going to autograph the CDs. We'll take pictures. We'll personalize them. We'll do whatever you'd like. All of the money goes to the great people at My Friend's Place. We've made over $60,000. Didn't get a total today, but I'll have one for you tomorrow. The amount of money that we've raised in the last month. Now, we get on the line here with Brad Rifkin. He's the owner of the Old Boot Tavern, which is a bar in Fullerton, California. And I'll get Brad on the line. I don't know if anybody saw the story about tall men getting more women. And I had an idea about when I read this article, I had an idea about talking with tall guys. And then we read where there's this bar down in Fullerton that has a short guy night. They have a short guy night where apparently short guys get in for whatever it is, like half price, and all the women get in for, there's no cover on the women. So it kind of gives the short guys a shot at the ladies, and it gives lets the short guys rule the roost for the night. Brad is with us from Fullerton. Good evening, Mr. Rivkin.
Good evening, Phil. Thanks for having me on your program.
So you own this, how long you own this bar?
We purchased Old Boot Tavern right out of college. As a matter of fact, my brother and I bought the original Old Boot Tavern. Was a place called DeLacy's, and we changed the name to the family. We called it Rifkin's for a while, and then we changed it to Old Boot in the mid-1980s. And it's been in our family for the last almost a little over 20 years, actually, in 1978. And we have had good success here. We originally from the New York area. When we relocated here to California, my family's been in the restaurant business back in New York. We relocated to California and went into a real estate buying mode and purchased this tavern. It's been a lot of fun.
What? Tell me about Short Guy Night. Why the idea for Short Guy Night?
The idea for Short Guy Night really started because we were thinking of having a ladies' night and. And we were having Monday Night Football, and we were trying to think of a night where we could involve the guys a little bit. And we had, and I have seen over the years, problems develop in a bar when a guy has too much to drink, and another guy has too much to drink, and generally speaking, you've got a lot of these shorter guys who have, you mentioned the Napoleon complex, and they want to start to get into somebody's face. Because the tall guys, sort of, kind of, control the dance floor a little bit and control the ladies. So,
all right. So what are you saying? You're saying, in other words, the shorter guys were getting into fights?
Well, you see, it's common in the business that I'm in to watch. I watch people, and I noticed that short guys got into that Napoleon thing where they get up into a big guy's face. And, yeah, there would be a disturbance. You'd have to ask somebody to leave. A lot of times it might be a little guy going after a tall guy. Rarely you'd ever see a tall guy going after a little guy. But the little guys, the shorter guys, would go after these big guys. And I was thinking about it. I was talking with my brother about it, and I said, well, maybe if we have a short guy night where they're not preempted by the big guys, where they're not kept from the ladies.
Well, what do you call short? How do you determine that?
Well, medically, my understanding is medically, any man under 6 foot tall is considered short. So we, Phil, on Wednesday night, which is we have our door people literally measure the guys coming in.
How are you doing that? Are you doing that with a tape measure?
That's correct, yeah. We have a tape measure, and we measure the guys coming in their stocking feet. And if they're under 6 foot tall, they get half charge, the half charge and the cover charge, and they come in. And so for one night of the week, the short guys get in. They're the majority of the guys in the room. They dance with all of the women. The women, there's no cover charge for the women. They're the guys that control the pool table. We do a lot of different things for them. We bring in bigger bar stools for them to sit up at the bar so that they feel, they're as tall as other guys. We do a thing where...
You have large bar stools.
We do. In other words, what we try to do is make the short guys feel at home. So we have taller bar stools, and we have a runner that runs around our pool table. They can step up on a platform around the pool table so they can reach the pool ball, the billiard balls. And all of this is done to make the short guys feel at home. Because when they're in the bar with the big guys, feelings get hurt. They get into a big guy's face. Fights break out, and it doesn't make for a very good scene. With a short guy night, it's nothing but little guys. They can get in there. And
let's keep in mind, again, we have to tell the audience, we're talking with Brad Rivkin. He owns the Old Boot Tavern in Fullerton, where they have short guy night on Wednesday nights. Anybody under 6 foot, right? We're not talking about midgets.
No, we're talking about short guys, which medically, if you're under 6 foot, you're a short guy. We make the drinks in 6-ounce tumblers. We have phone books available.
Phone books for what? For sitting on?
For lifting them off the seat. We have the 6-inch. The purpose of the night is to channel shorter men into the bar so they don't get their Napoleon complex going. We don't want these guys getting, excuse my language, but we don't want to get them pissed off at big guys. So we channel and funnel the shorter guys in the bar so they don't get the Napoleon complex going with big guys, only to wind up getting their asses kicked. Because what happens is you get these little guys, these 5'11", 5'10", 5'9", whatever they're, 5'5", they get the Napoleon complex going. They get into a big guy's face. They wind up getting their ass kicked out of the bar. They wind up getting their ass bounced off of a car hood someplace out in the parking lot, and they still don't wind up going home with no woman. So these guys have their own night.
Okay, it's an interesting premise. We're going to get back to Brad Rivkin, owner of the Old Boot Tavern. He has short guy night, and the reason why he has a night dedicated to shorter men is so that they don't get their Napoleon complex going, as you just heard him say, and get into a fight with a big guy and wind up, quote, getting their asses kicked, end quote. Check that, too, if you wouldn't mind, Mike, about that medically speaking, anything under 6 foot is short, because I don't think that's... I could be wrong, but I don't think that's right. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. The Phil Hendrie Show. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. And Brad Rivkin is a business owner, a tavern owner in Fullerton. The Old Boot Tavern on Wednesday nights has Short Guy Night. And this night was developed for shorter men because you said, Mr. Rivkin, they were evidencing a Napoleon complex?
That's correct. In other words, they were short men with a drink in them will get into the face of a bigger guy. Ask any big guy, and they'll tell you at times in their life they've had to contend with these shorter guys who feel insecure about their size, want to compensate for their lack of size by getting bossy, getting pushy with big guys, and it makes for a very ugly scene. What we did is we started Short Guy Night so these guys could go in at half charge. It would be their night. We let the women in, no cover charge, and the short guys can rule the roost for the night, and this kind of heads off any fist fight that might break out between a little guy and a big guy where the little guy gets his ass kicked and thrown in the street. We don't want to see that. We want to see them have a good time, and we go out of our way. Like I said, we have special bar stools, special tables. We have a pool table with a hydraulic lift and a special runner around the bar. So that
What is the hydraulic lift on the pool table lifts up, or
no, it lowers down.
That's what I meant to say.
It lowers down, Phil, and we make it as comfortable as we can for the short guys.
And this is for men six. What is it?
5'11" and under 6 foot.
All right, 1-800-449-8686 is the Phil Hendrie Show number. Here's Covina. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, I'm 5'11". You're saying I'm short compared to somebody
Medically speaking.
Medically speaking?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
a doctor?
No, but those are the definitions that I've heard.
So what if someone comes in, they're 4 feet tall? You going to lower the pool table? Now I got to get on my knees and play?
I don't understand.
You said you're going to lower the pool table for someone that's shorter if they're 4 feet tall.
How does that work? In other words, if a guy is this man's 5'11", I'm 6 foot. You're telling me I wouldn't get in. Is that right?
If you're 6 foot, technically, no, you wouldn't, Phil.
All right, so this gentleman's only an inch shorter than me, and yet he's got to, I mean, he has to go in there and shoot pool with a guy. I'm laughing at the thought. Forgive me, but you're going to lower.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. What we have to do, in other words, is we have to work out a compromise. But I think if you're 5'11", if you're 4 foot, there's a brotherhood that you share with guys.
How is 5'11" and 4 feet tall brotherhood? I could skip over it.
So you could skip over it. The fact that you're both short or shorter. He's shorter.
How tall are you? That 5'11" is short.
I'm 6'3".
You're telling me that 4 inches difference between short and tall.
Well, I mean, here's what I would suggest for you. You would probably be better going into the bar on a regular night. Don't go into the bar on a night. If you see a 4 foot high guy in there, I'd turn around and leave.
So, in other words,
I really don't know what's funny, Mr. Hendrie. What I'm trying to do is avoid incidents where a little guy is going to get up.
This man's 5'11". He's going to get up into somebody's face?
I don't know.
It's because I'm an inch shorter than somebody else?
I don't know the gentleman. I would guess not. But I'm saying if you're 5'11", you walk into the bar.
You know what? I think you're trying to get free advertising. It's a gimmick.
Oh, sure. I don't deny I want to get advertising for my establishment.
Well, I will say it's my fault. I found out about the guy's Short Guy Night. We called him. We put him on the air. He didn't really canvass us. But the point you're making about a 4 foot high guy, so this man walks into the bar 5'11". He sees a 4 foot high guy playing pool, and what?
I would wait for the table. Wait till he's done.
And then what? You push a button?
Behind the bar, you push a button, and the table goes up, yeah.
That's crazy. You're crazy. What about urinals? Are they shorter urinals in there, too?
Well, why
shorter toilets?
The toilets, are you asking seriously?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying you're lowering and raising everything to compromise?
If you're asking me, say we have an attendant who will... I don't know whether this guy's serious, Phil.
Yeah,
Your serious question, what's the answer?
We have people in the bathroom who'll lift you up and put you on the seat, yeah.
You're joking.
You got to be kidding.
No, I am saying to you that if you have a problem with your size, getting onto the
I'm going to go in there and someone's going to lift me up to the urinal.
5'11", I doubt it. 5'11", I doubt it. But if you're 4 foot tall and you may need some help, we're happy to do it for you.
How manly can a guy feel when he has to have a guy pick him up and put him on a toilet?
Does he shake him too when he's done?
Very funny, sir.
All right. Well, thank you for your call.
Hey,
Yeah.
Great show. Thank you very much.
If you're 5'2" and your feet dangle for the toilet, you may need help getting up there. That's all I'm saying. Do your feet dangle?
No, but it's
All right.
dangling.
How about you,
All
Phil?
right.
I tell you, my feet dangle when I use the handicap.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, but if I go into the handicap toilet, my feet definitely, I feel like I'm 4.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's weird. Can I ask you a question? You're the talk show host.
Yeah.
Why do cripples need a bigger toilet? What's that about?
Well, first of all, sir, I don't like the use of the word cripple.
I'm sorry, but do you have any... All right, I don't want to use the word cripple. Do you have any people what don't walk good listening to your show to explain why they need a big toilet?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure if there are some handicapped people listening, they can give us an answer to your question is.
Yeah, my question is simply because the state came into my bar and said, you got to have a handicapped toilet. And I said, well, what is that? He said, all I know is they're bigger than most people's toilets. So
Okay, we'll take a break and try to answer that. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
皆様、本日はフィル・ヘンドリーエアをご利用いただき
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Brad Rifkin, who is the owner of the Old Boot Tavern in Fullerton, on the line with us. On Wednesday night, they have Short Guy Night, and you said, Mr. Rifkin, one of the reasons why you have Short Guy Night, that is letting men in under 6 foot tall is so that they don't get their Napoleon complex going and get their asses kicked by big guys on other nights, right?
Well, that's one of the reasons, Phil. There's other reasons having to do with women. May I read something to you?
And what is this from?
This is from today's newspaper. This is from the L.A. Times today. Taller men get more girls. If I could just read this.
Go ahead.
If it seemed as if the tall guys got all the girls in high school, it wasn't your imagination. New research suggests taller men are more likely to marry and tend to have more children than short guys. What's behind the phenomenon, whether women prefer taller men or those men are simply more outgoing, is up for debate. But the numbers stack up against short guys. Well, basically, what they're saying is women go for big guys, tall guys. So what we did is we had Short Guy Night. So the guys get in. We don't charge any cover for the women, and for at least one night a week, the short guys rule the floor, they rule the bar, and they got a good shot at getting some of these women that otherwise the big guys are going to get, because the short guys are getting lost. I mean, you go in a bar on a regular night where the women are talking to the tall guys, the short guys, you can't even see them because they're
getting blocked out by taller people?
Yeah, they're getting blocked out. The waitresses don't know where they are. So these are the things that we try to...
What do you mean the waitresses don't know where they are?
Yeah, short guy. There was one guy complained he couldn't get a drink for 2 hours because the waitress had walked by and either the napkin dispenser or where we keep the hard-boiled eggs, he was like underneath it. And
what is the guy, a midget or something?
No, I'm just saying the shorter guys, you can't see them because they're blocked by the bar stools and stuff. So that's one of the reasons why we do that as well.
So that the bigger guys aren't getting all the girls.
That's true. Sometimes a lot of the shorter guys, Phil, if you do this line of work like I do, you own a bar like I do, then you know. And sometimes they're blocked by the women. I mean, the women are big, so you don't see them at all until the place clears out. Then there's one short guy there who's got his tongue hitting the floor because he hasn't had a beer for 3 hours. And that's bad.
All right, let me go to Clearwater on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes. I just wanted to tell you the reason that people need these high johns. The reason for it is...
No, you're talking about the handicapped people needing larger toilets?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're higher. They're not larger, but they're higher in height. And the reason for that is because your degree of angle of your legs when your knee replacements heal is different. I have one that's only 90 degrees, but the other goes 120 degrees. But yet when I'm sitting on a low toilet, I can't get off of it without a rail. I have to open the door and pull myself up. You don't have the leverage to go straight up and stand.
Are you saying one of your legs is shorter, ma'am?
No. Not the
You
leg
said-
is shorter
You said one leg doesn't bend?
as far as the other one.
Right.
In other words, when you're sitting in a chair,
Yeah.
one knee only goes 90 degrees, which would be straight down to the floor.
Gotcha.
The other one goes back to 120 degrees.
Who's the guy that
Further
did that?
back under the chair.
Who's the guy that did that job?
Well, it's not the point. It's the way it healed because of the disability and the problem that was there before.
I'd find that guy, get it fixed.
But you need
But the
to have,
point being,
you need to have the handrails to help assist you to get up. Also,
Why are the toilet? Why are they wider? They just seem huge.
they're not wider.
They're not wider. They seem wider. Like my ass, pardon my language, but it feels like I'm going to slide right down into the bowl.
They're never wider. They're only higher.
The guy came to me from the state and said, you got to put in these handicap johns, and I did it. He said they got to be something like 3 feet wide.
Well, if they need them 3 feet wide, then that's probably for people with hip replacement.
I got you. So
how are you going to sit on a toilet 3 feet wide?
I don't know.
You slide in.
Like a fat guy with a hip replacement. I don't know what it is, but it's nuts.
All right, dear, thank you for that. So now you know why they need the bigger toilets, and you're the guy that spent the money on it.
I know. I got all these upgrades. I can't keep up with it.
Here's Riverside on the Phil Hendrie Show. Riverside, hello. Is he there? Okay. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show here. We got Brad Rifkin on the line. He is a bar owner in Fullerton, California, the Old Boot Tavern, which is a place that has short guy night. And that's letting all the short guys in, right? And let me ask you something. You wanted to offset fist fights and make sure the short guy, I guess you're trying to get the short guys laid. Is that it?
Well, I don't want to put it that way, but when you put a guy in a bar who's under 6 feet tall and he's got all these bigger guys, he hasn't got a shot in hell. He's not got a shot in hell of getting laid that night. So, yeah, we did that. And also, I don't want him getting pissed off and wanting to kick ass on big guys because that obviously is going to, going to cause a problem, Phil. So we hope that we've been able to offset the problems that a lot of these short guys have getting their asses kicked.
All right, now you keep talking about how short guys will get their asses kicked in a bar. There are a lot of occupations with men in them who were short. Dustin Hoffman is a short man, obviously very accomplished. Mel Gibson, a short man, very accomplished. Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, you got all of these actors. Forget about it. Actors, they got little tiny actors. That's no problem. Abraham Lincoln, let's talk about him. He was huge. Henry Ford, he was an industrialist. You want to talk about movie stars? They hire those guys. All they got to do is stick them on a box and put the camera in front of them. They had a guy, I don't know his name, they had to stick him on a box. They had to put him on a phone book. While he's doing a love scene with some chick in a restaurant, they sat him down on a phone book because he was a little tiny guy. But I'm talking about...
Okay, how about Napoleon? As long as we're talking about the complex that was named after, how about the man Napoleon?
Got his ass kicked.
Who did?
Napoleon. Yeah, he went to Russia and got his ass kicked all the way back to wherever he was from. He was from France, right?
France.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked. That's what I'm talking about. And that's where the Napoleon deal is born from.
All right, here's Atlanta on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Mr. Riskin?
Yes, ma'am.
I just can't believe you're talking about short men like this. My husband is 4'11". He doesn't need a special night at a nightclub.
4'11"?
Yes, sir. There's nothing wrong
Let me
with
tell you
that.
something. A lot of guys 4'11" need a special pool table.
No way.
Yeah, we've got guys who need a special pool table.
I just feel
Okay,
like
so does your husband shoot pool? I got a guy 4'11", comes in on short guy night. We lower the table for him, and that's the first thing. I got a guy who's a regular who goes around behind the bar, knows what a button is, and pushes the button to lower the table. Say, his name is Matt. Say, how you doing, Matt? Good, Brad. He lowers the table.
4'11", he goes around behind the bar and lowers the table.
Right.
Well, my husband has a red wagon that he brings with him and stands on the red wagon.
Okay. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show. So, Brad, this guy comes in and lowers the red wagon, or lowers this table, right?
Yeah, they come in, they'll lower the table, and what they do is then they can shoot pool comfortably. Okay? So, in other words, what happens is the guy walks in, goes around behind the bar, pushes the button, lowers the table, and what you have is a nice, comfortable night of shooting pool. I can't have these guys going in on a night when there's regular-sized guys in there and pissing them off. They can't reach the table.
We got to get a better definition, too, of what you're talking about when you say short, because you say any guy under 6 foot.
I've had guys who are 5'11", feel very, I don't know what you want to call it, they feel very, very intimidated. And they want to come in on short guy night, and I don't know what the cutoff should be. So we let the guys in who are 5'11", and if a 5'11" guy comes in, wants to shoot pool, and there's a 4'11" guy at the table, he can wait for the guy to get off the table,
and then press the button.
Press the button, and the table is raised right back up again.
All right. So how successful has this been?
It's been very successful. We've had a lot of people who have come in. I have never seen so many short guys getting laid. I mean, I don't know if they're getting laid or not, but if you want to see short guys get lucky, come into my bar on a Wednesday night. And probably for the first time in your life, you're going to see a whole lot of guys. You're 6 foot tall?
I'm 6 foot, yeah.
You're going to see a lot of guys that you tower over getting laid left and right. So for me, it is a tremendous, tremendous way of giving back to the community of little guys that started a lot of fights in my bars down over the years. And for the most part, really weren't getting anything for it. And there they are. They're getting lucky. All
right, well, Brad Rifkin is with us here from the Old Boot Tavern. It's called Short Guy Night, and they have it. It's every Wednesday night?
Every Wednesday night, Phil. Half-price cover for guys under 6 foot. And for women, it's free.
All right, so all the ladies are getting in free. And if you're a man under 6 feet tall, you come in for Short Guy Night, and it's nothing but chicks and little guys.
Okay, yeah, little guys, right.
Now, you've got a hydraulic pool table. You have a hydraulic pool table. You have bar stools that are higher than usual.
Yes.
Phone books.
We have phone books if you choose to sit on them. We've got somebody in the bathroom.
Someone in the bathroom who will lift you up and put you on the toilet.
Absolutely, Phil.
And that's every Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Talking to Brad Rifkin here, owner of the Old Boot Tavern in Fullerton. It's the Phil Hendrie Show. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. Coming up on Saturday, we're going to be at the Sit and Sleep. That is in Tarzana. And that's at 19119 Ventura Boulevard in Tarzana, California. We're going to be selling the Best of the Phil Hendrie Show 1999 CD. For those of you who didn't get a hold of that thing, this is your opportunity. We'll get it signed for you, and you can get a picture taken, or whatever you'd like. We do a few personal appearances throughout the city. And for the rest of the time, we sell it online, and you can certainly get it online at philhendrieshow.com. The CD is available there for $23.50. So when we ship it out to you, you spend $3.50 shipping and handling, and we had our radiothon too. But if you want to get the CD in person and have me sign it for you, and whatever else we can do for you, that's where we're going to be on Saturday. And I'm doing some extra plugs for that thing because we're only a couple of days away from that, and who knows what else we're going to do. As long as we sell the CD throughout the remainder of the winter months, we're going to try to get around town as much as we can. That's in Tarzana. It starts at noon. It goes all the way until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we can get to as many people as we can. And sign as many autographs as we can and sell as many CDs as we can. We've made $60,000. That's 60 and some change in the last month selling for My Friend's Place, a resource center for homeless and runaway kids in Hollywood. And they do great work, and we're really, really happy. And I just found out the other day that Brian Newhouse is leaving the organization in a few weeks. He's going to go traveling with his girlfriend. They're going to, head out on the road, man. They're going to get into an RV. It's Born to Be Wild all over again. Hit some campgrounds, hit some of those KOAs, get some of that bottled water, trudge on back, fill up the propane, and head on down the road. So Brian's going to be splitting the organization, and we love you, Brian, and we thank you for your help. Steve Lepore left. It's a whole new crew of people, but we're really happy to be working with these guys. And if you want to, and I don't know if it's your thing, but if you want to donate some money and you don't want our CD, maybe you think it's the worst thing you ever heard, maybe you think our show sucks completely, you can still donate money directly to My Friend's Place in Hollywood, California. They're on the corner of Hollywood and Ivar. So Brian's out of here. I had a friend up in Ventura, somebody that I worked with in Ventura, go around the country with her husband in a mobile home looking for businesses to invest in. And they had saved enough money whereby they could do this. They could go around the country, see the lay of the land, and look for businesses to invest in. And I don't know, they were like in their 30s, 31 or 32. And so they took off. They traveled the country. And I saw them a few years later up in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. And I said, so did you find that business? Yes, we have, Phil. We have found the business that we're going to invest in. And this is a tremendous opportunity. And it's a big, the upside on this thing's fantastic. Using all of that lingo. I said, well, what business? They bought a campground. They bought some campground outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. I said, what? Yeah, think about it. It's recession-proof, man. Like, let's say the whole thing goes to hell in a hand. Let's say the whole thing goes to hell in a handcart and it's depression time, man. Why, people can come to our campground and live there. And, of course, if everything's great and everybody wants to go camping out, they can come to our campground and they can camp out there. There's a fine line, Phil, between camping out and living. If things get really bad, but you don't want to feel depressed about it, just consider yourself camping out. Like Woody Guthrie or whoever those guys were, the guys that rode the rails back in the 30s, they weren't hobos. They were just camping out. They were, they were just hopping from campsite to campsite. So in any event, that's what they did. They bought a campground, and they got a souvenir shop there, and I don't know what the hell they've got, man. They got a few skulls, dangling, shrunken heads. They said, what the hell are you going to do with those? Well, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I said, well, what is this crap that you're selling? Well, it's just stuff. I said, because I notice I go into some of these places, I see this stuff. I don't know what that is. I mean, what are you trying to do? It's just crap that you sell, Phil. Don't get nuts about it. It's just crap that I sell. Well, you got shrunken heads. You have like those Aunt Jemima jars, the little black lady where you lift her head off and the cookies go in. He says, yeah. I said, great. And you got any of those in white? I mean, you got the little black lady. Oh, yeah, we got some white stuff, too. Shrunken heads, Confederate flags, the Eiffel Tower. Now, keep in mind, this dude has got a campsite out on a windswept highway in New Mexico. Why is he selling the Eiffel Tower? He's got these little Eiffel Tower, what do you call those things? Paperweight. Why? He says, people buy them. Who buys them? Just people come in, They camp out, they come in, they buy crap, and I sell tons of these. I sell like 50 of these a week. You got to be putting me on, man. I'm camping out in New Mexico, and I'm buying the Eiffel Tower paperweight? Oh, yeah. I can't keep them in stock. Bull crap. Can't keep. I'm sending away to Paris for these things. Guy's buying the Eiffel Tower paperweight, and he's in New Mexico. And I said, and by the by, what about the shrunken heads? What's that about? Well, it's very exotic. People are camping out. They think this guy's going to shrink their head. I don't know. I said, where do you get those? Venezuela. So in other words, he's buying them from Venezuela for like nothing. He's got these shrunken heads dangling there at the checkout counter at the campground. He's selling shrunken heads, the Eiffel Tower, bottles of French champagne, who knows, and he's out in the middle of a highway in New Mexico with a tumbleweed going across the street. I said, man, you know what you're doing. Obviously, I'm stupid. You know what, Phil? You got to have a knack for this stuff. I said, I'd never in my wildest dreams would I ever think that I could start a campground in New Mexico and I'd make myself like what do you call that? A land office or a land boom business or a box office business selling shrunken heads and Eiffel Tower paperweights. Oh, yeah, man. You guys are doing good. Oh, we're doing fantastic. You wouldn't believe it. And then he's got the cooler. He's got stuff to drink there. Postcards, pens, and sunglasses. And the sunglasses, they sell like crazy because people are always losing their sunglasses. And they come in here and they buy these cheap $8 sunglasses. I said, let me ask you a question. What about these stuffed animals? Yep, I sell a hell of a lot of those. I can't... For who? For what? To kids? No. They come in, they just buy a stuffed animal. I said, this is New Mexico in a campground. I can't understand anybody would go out of their way to buy a stuffed animal. And what it is it's called impulse buying. And you guys know what this is. You've done it yourself. You stand at a checkout stand. As you're waiting to get your crap checked out, what do they have there? They have gum. They have candy. They have the National Enquirer. They have little dangling toenail clippers. They have Breath Assure. They have all that stuff that most of it you don't need, right? And like when I'm standing in line with the kids, can we get some of this? And Catherine, you know, the 8-year-old, she's the worst. I want this, and she's grabbing crap, man. I put her down because she's 8. I'm looking at 40-year-old women doing the same thing. Oh, we need some of that, and we need some of that. Why do you need that right now? You do not need that $6 pair of toenail clippers. I know you don't need that. Well, I got to have it because it's here in front of me. And let me get the Inquirer, and let me get the Globe, and let me get the World Weekly News, and I got to get some of these Starburst, and here's some of this. And, you know, you just by looking at that crap, you put on 8,000 pounds on your ass before you even got out of the store. North Hollywood on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I used to sell that stuff in San Francisco.
Oh, great.
Chosky's.
Where, in
the Embarcadero.
The Embarcadero.
Right.
And on the street?
No, in one of the little shops. And, you know,
so what were they buying? Were they buying the cookie jars?
Chains,
well, because they want a souvenir of being in San Francisco, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but what about getting an Eiffel Tower paper? Well, wait a second. Why an Eiffel? Wait a second. Why an Eiffel Tower paperweight in New Mexico?
They just want a souvenir.
I went to New Mexico. See the Eiffel Tower, great.
I mean, you could get those.
It was fun.
A dime a dozen. You buy them in Taiwan. You go through a broker.
I'm telling you, this guy's brilliant. You don't have to sell the Transamerica building, dude. When you were selling them tchotchkes in San Francisco, you could have Big Ben.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's what you should have done.
I mean, all you do is check off a list of, you know, items.
Sell any shrunken heads?
Whatever.
Okay.
And, you know, they send it to you. It's all made in Taiwan.
The shrunken heads are made in Taiwan.
Right.
Well, you know what?
Made in Taiwan.
Now the business is, I'm going to start making shrunken heads in America. Sell them to that guy there in San Francisco. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
Добрый день. Спасибо, что вы выбрали компанию Phil Hendrie Air. Наш полет будет проходить на высоте 300 тысяч фит. И еще водка. Наш полет включает борщ. Я еще хочу упоминать Чернобыль. And now, here's Phil.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Thanks to the listener who sent Playboy from January of 1998. It has an interview with Betty Page. Now, we were looking at the top 100 Playmates from, I guess it's supposed to be the top 100 Playmates of the century. The magazine's only been published since the early 50s, so they were the top 100 Playmates of the last 50 years or 48 years or whatever it's been. And the number 3 Playmate was Betty Page, and she was a 50s Playmate, and somebody had said she'd become a recluse and went into a nut house. Short story. Her story was very interesting. And I got the copy sent by a listener of the interview they conducted with her. It's called Betty Page, My Story, and it's in the January of 98 Playboy. I'm not going to read it on the air, but I want to thank the listener for sending it. And, well, what the hell, man? Why not read it on the air, okay? Now, that'll kill off an hour. That could kill 2 hours. It's going to save some hair, what's left. Save a little chest hair, save my throat, save the show. How about we just read the Betty Page interview? You want? Should we take a vote? Not. Anyway, thanks for the article. I appreciate it very much. And don't forget, of course, our appearance at the Sit and Sleep in Tarzana. Margaret Gray is on the line this evening. She is a nationally syndicated columnist and is writing an article about Elian Gonzalez, the little boy. We had a hell of a night the other night with one of the members of the Cuban-American community in Miami, Margaret, who was very much against sending this boy back to Cuba and was very much in favor of keeping him here. Although most people thought that the guy was, he was a glory hog, kind of a press hog.
Well, there is that, Phil, and I think there are a lot of members of the Cuban community who want to see their name in the newspaper. They're Cuban people living in America for a short period of time, and who knows, the lure of publicity, the lure of the television camera may very well have drawn them to rabble-rouse a little bit. But my feeling on this boy, Phil, is a little bit more organic and a little bit less political. And
Well, I want you to come right out and tell us, do you think that this kid should stay in America or should he go back?
I absolutely think he should stay, and I'll tell you why. Because that is what his mother wanted.
But his father wants him to go back.
His father wants him to go back. A woman and a mother knows her children intimately. And a mother knows what's best for her child. And even though the boy's father wants him to return to Havana, we have to respect and understand what the special bond between a mother and a son is, Phil. And this is what she wanted for her son. She was braving death, obviously braving a political persecution at home so that she could give the best for her boy. And I think it is obvious this is what she wanted for her boy. And
But he has a parent who is alive. He has a father who is alive.
He does have a father who is alive. And with great respect to that man, a father cannot possibly hope to know what is in a child's heart as well as a mother can. And that is what is going on here, Phil. You really have to open your eyes and get your ego out of the way. Step back from the problem a little bit.
Well, I'm going to step back from the problem this much, okay? You're saying that a father can't possibly know what a mother knows about her child. He's alive. She is not. She braved death, as you said. She braved political persecution at home. She wanted the best, but she did not survive. The father survived.
And how intelligent can he be? Think about it.
What do you mean, how intelligent can he be?
Think about it. He's living in Havana. She was trying to go to America. Who was smarter? Who was the individual who had a little bit more going on upstairs? Let's think about this. Let's think.
Oh, come on, Margaret. The guy is, for whatever reason,
For whatever reason, the reason is obvious. He wasn't bright enough to know that going to America would be the very best thing for his son.
Well, obviously, these two people are either divorced or separated or something, because there was a mother and a stepfather who perished, unfortunately. The little boy made it.
Well, whether they're divorced or not, she's coming to America. He's sitting in some, God only knows, ramshackle dung heap in Havana, Cuba. Hello? Who has the brains in this family? Who wanted the best for this boy in this family? And Phil, all things aside, all politics aside, who knows their child better, a mother or a father? And
well, I don't know that you can,
Well, Phil, who knows their child better, a mother or a father? A mother has a special bond. You have to understand, the Cuban people in this country will not be denied. America can ignore the Yugoslavian. They can ignore the Haitian. They can ignore the Vietnamese. They can ignore all of these people. The Cuban people will not be denied. And we will have the child here. This is the message, Phil, I think that's being given, and I think it is a very forceful one and a very clear one.
All right, Margaret Gray is with us, a syndicated columnist about Elian Gonzalez. 1-800-449-8686. You're saying some things that are almost inflammatory. You're saying a father doesn't know his child as well as a mother does.
Especially in this instance, Phil. This guy is not a brain surgeon sitting back in Havana while these...
Well, wait a minute. You can make the argument she wasn't much of a brain surgeon, going across the very treacherous waters of the Florida Straits to try to get to America, where her chances of survival were very, very slim. How smart is that?
She made a run for it. She took a chance. She made a break for the border. Can't you appreciate a mother's love? She made a break for the border, Phil. She rolled the dice. She lost. Big deal. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. The father, this brain surgeon's down in Havana. Smart guy.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Phelan on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Yes, concerning that boy, I definitely think he needs to go back to his parent. They seem, from what I've seen on television, they seem like nice, responsible people, including his grandmother and all.
His grandmother is in America.
Oh, well, wherever she is.
She's in America.
Okay.
So if she's nice and smart and responsible...
Absolutely, Phil. If the grandmother is responsible, she's in America, why not keep him with the grandmother?
First off, let's practice what we preach here in the United States in our system, that the child belongs with the natural parent, and the natural parent...
Well, how bright is this guy sitting down in Havana?
That is his country.
You see what I'm saying?
Ma'am, that is his country. And the thing, as you say, there, case of Ra. She took a chance.
She rolled the dice.
Wait a minute. If she was concerned about that child who has no conception of what is best for his future, she would have never considered for her lover, her newfound love or whatever, to try to make it here or try to...
Have you ever... What is your name, sir? I'm Margaret. What is your name? Seriously.
John.
John. Don. Have you ever rolled the dice?
Oh, ma'am.
Taken the big chance?
Ma'am, I've rolled... in life, I've rolled so many dice it'd blow your mind.
I love you. I love your guts.
But
and that's what you did.
It does not give me or anyone else the right to do something.
Do you know
and
the song?
Try to make it
Do you remember
right.
Doris Day? Do you remember Doris Day? When I was just a little girl.
Yeah, we know the song. Right. It's Que Sera, Sera.
Exactly. What will be, will be.
Yes.
Let's grow a pair of... Excuse me.
I was going to say, ma'am, the point is, like with that child there, the mother, if you say that her number
Let's
one
grow
concern,
a pair, John.
Her number one concern should have been about that child, as is of mine, I would never, to be in any,
if you're
rich or any other predicament, or be here in the United States or anywhere,
we've got to grow a pair, Don.
Never would I put my
John?
child in that danger.
Don.
Don, we've got to grow a pair, a good substantial pair, and let's roll the dice. Que sera, sera.
No,
okay.
I would definitely.
Whatever will be.
I would definitely disagree with anyone that would think that you preach one thing here in America
and do the other.
And do the other.
All right, sir. Thank you for your call. Got to take a break. I appreciate that. There's one man who definitely disagrees with you.
Phil, the Cuban people will not be denied. The Cuban American people want the child, and the child will stay.
We'll see about that, okay? These absolutes anger me a little bit. 1-800-449-8686. We're talking about Elian Gonzalez. Margaret Gray, syndicated columnist, is with us. And she says the kid should stay in America because how bright could his dad be? He's still back in Havana. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Speaking with syndicated columnist Margaret Gray about the Elian Gonzalez ongoing controversy. Don't you see anything in this thing as political, Margaret? Do you think that this is entirely about a boy belonging with his mother? His mother is gone. Don't you think he should be with his family? Why has this kid become a political football?
The child belongs with his relatives in Miami, Phil. The father is in a communist nation. There is a reason why courts generally award custody to the mother, and that is because the mother is closer. A mother knows her son. I know my sons. I have 3 sons. My husband cannot possibly hope to know my boys the way that I know my boys. And were this my boy, with my dying gasp, as the raft or whatever it was that she was on sank, I'd say, make sure that child gets to freedom. Freedom. Beautiful Miami. The Indians call it Miami. In the Will Smith song, Miami. You know what they did? And that,
fine, whatever, however they pronounce it, I don't care.
That's what she wanted, though. Freedom. And yes, Doris Day said it very well. Que sera, sera. You know the song, Phil.
I know the song, What Will Be, Will Be. She rolled the dice. I understand. I just don't want to see this little boy turned into a political football where the Cuban-American community decides, aha, here's an opportunity for us to get our faces in a newspaper. Here's Charleston on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello? Charleston, hello. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm calling. I think that little boy belongs with his father.
What, in a communist nation?
Yeah, in a communist nation. The kid is in no danger.
Have you ever lived under communism?
Have you?
I know people who have.
Okay, fine.
Well, what do you know about it?
This boy is in no physical danger, no mental danger, no danger of any type.
So send him back to the father, even though the mother wanted. Do you have children?
Okay, okay.
Do you have children?
Okay.
Do you have children?
Let's look at it this way.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
All right. Would you want those children somewhere other than where you thought they should be? The boy's mother wanted him to taste and breathe freedom.
All right, let the lady say something,
I want my children.
I'm trying to move the conversation along.
I want my children where the child's parents are.
Where you are.
Where you
are.
In the United States, where I am.
All right.
And this boy belongs.
And if you were in Cuba, where would you want the child?
With me.
You'd still want him in Cuba?
Yeah.
Even if you were living in a dung heap?
He's my child.
Even if you were living in a he's not a toy, dear. He's not your possession.
Didn't say he was.
He's his own man.
He is.
If you lived in a dung heap, would you want him sharing a dung heap with you?
If you lived in Cuba, would you want your child?
I wouldn't want him living in a dung heap. Not if I lived in a dung heap. No.
No, if you lived in a nice house.
Oh, I see. They have nice houses in Cuba. I don't think so.
Have you ever been to Cuba?
Well, I'll answer the question for both of you. They have nice houses if you're a member of the Communist Party and you are a member of the inner circle. For the average person, no, they don't.
Well, there you go. Phil answered it for us.
Well, anyway.
Don't be naive, dear.
Okay,
don't be naive.
I'm not being naive.
You live in South Carolina. You've already got that Confederate flag hanging over you.
Can I say something? Could I say something?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, how about forming a militia here? Get a bunch of soldiers who go over to all the communist countries and collect up all the little kiddies and bring them all over here because they'll have better lives here. Why don't we do that?
Because not all their parents want them to be over here.
Well, obviously, his living parent does not want him over here.
But his dead parent did.
Well, it's
and
too
the
bad.
Cuban people will not be there. Did that woman die in vain? Did that woman die in vain? She did not die in vain. I will see to it that she didn't die in vain.
The fact is,
and the little boy's stepfather.
The child has a living father.
All right, okay, we got it. Thank you very much. Here's Atlanta on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, I totally disagree.
Go right
with
ahead,
the columnist.
sir.
Yes, ma'am. I totally disagree with you.
Go ahead.
The child needs to be back with the father.
You know, is this a broken record that we're hearing here tonight? The child needs
no,
back
it's
with
just
the father.
that you're harping on a tune just for sensationalism.
What if the child's father lived in a cage?
To go back.
And what if the child's father lived in a cage? Would the child need to be with him then?
Well, ma'am, the child's father does not live in a cage.
How do you know?
He might not live according to your standards.
Well, where do you live?
To your standards.
Do you live in a dung heap?
To your standards.
Do you live in a dung heap? No.
The average Cuban person that's
You're
there that has
messing with
a
the
child.
Cuban people, sir, and they will not be denied.
Nobody. I'm Cuban myself.
Well, don't mess with. Really?
Yes, ma'am.
You sound black. The Cuban
Obviously,
people.
you've never seen many Cubans.
I've seen them. And,
no, you haven't. For you to make a comment like that just shows you're ignorant.
They look like
you
the
are
guy
just
on
jumping
Channel
on a
34.
bandwagon trying to make yourself seem so important over an issue you don't know anything about. You don't even know what the Cuban people are about. You don't even know what they look like.
Cuban
you don't even know what they sound like. You only know the ones that you see or hear on TV trying to make a name for themselves.
Those are the ones that
you have Cubans. Ma'am, listen. You have Cubans black as tar. You have Cubans white as snow. So don't say, oh, he sounds black. No, ma'am. You just need to just get off the bandwagon. Let the father have his son.
No, I don't think so.
It's not for you to jump on somebody's bandwagon.
How bright can this guy be while he's living down in Cuba?
That is dead.
How can this guy be very bright?
The dead is conscious of nothing at
This guy lives in Havana. He's got to be the dumbest guy going. He lives in Havana. How bright can he be?
That means nothing, ma'am. The child needs to be with his father.
All right, thank you. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
God.
Hola, y gracias por volar en la aerolínea aérea de Phil Hendrie.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Margaret Gray on the line with us. Elian Gonzalez, the little boy, and we've talked about this a couple of times this week, once with a member of the Cuban-American community in Miami, and now with Margaret, who does a nationally syndicated column. Just the idea of a boy being taken from a father. You heard what the father said. He wants to break the necks of the politicians.
Look, Phil, I know Cuban people. I've been around them. I've traveled. They're very emotional. They get real crazy. They're very Latin. They're very hot-blooded. And they speak fast, and they wave their hands all over the place. You know how these people are. What I'm saying is, let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's let the American people raise this boy. Forget about the Cuban-American population in Miami, Phil, if you will. If you want, we can just put them on the back burner. Let's talk about the rest of us. We have a wonderful opportunity to raise this child in our image and likeness, the Freedom Child. And that's the name of my column tomorrow, the Freedom Child. Elian Gonzalez, Freedom Child, que sera, sera. But these Cubans, Phil, I know these people, warm-blooded, gesticulating all over the place, hopping up and down in front of a TV camera. They play their dominoes out on Calle Ocho. They wear their hats. They smoke their cigars, etc., etc. They eat their runny eggs in the morning, and they have their Cubano coffee in the afternoon. Let's do something different. Let's bring the child to America and make him the Freedom Child. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's I'm bowled over.
Well, I really believe, Phil, there's poetry to that.
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I get the feeling you're very taken with your own words. But let's move on here. San Diego on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Charlemagne here. You there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got to invade Cuba. I agree with what she's saying. I can't believe we even allow Cuba to use the Gregorian calendar. They think we're stupid, like we don't know what time it is. We should use this child on hamburger and car commercials as a symbol of freedom. Communists have no rights or feelings. That father has no rights. The mother died for freedom. This kid could become rich. What does he need a father for when he could be on TV and have a gold card?
Oh, your sarcasm doesn't move me.
You'll never get a credit card in Cuba.
Your sarcasm doesn't move me.
I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah, you're being sarcastic, and your sarcasm does not move me at all.
All right, let's go to Santa Rosa on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, if a mother tried to pull that garbage in this country, the Child Protective Agency would be all over her.
Pull what garbage?
Give her child freedom? Life?
Give her child freedom? Let me explain life to you, my dear. In America, where everything is nice
should be able
and
to endanger the life of their child.
I know, but you don't know the big bad world beyond the borders of this country.
That's why a child gets taken away from their parents.
Well, she's making a point, okay? We're not talking about America. We're talking about the real world.
Yeah.
And the real world where most people live is a dangerous, despotic place with totalitarian governments, secret police, dragging you out of bed in the morning or dragging you out of bed in the middle of the night and questioning you in a police station without your Miranda rights, okay? So you talk about America, you're not talking about the real world.
Thank you, Phil. That's my point. So you need to get your nose in life a little bit, son, because what's happening out there is that young people are not free, and mothers are desperately trying to find freedom for the young people.
I don't think the issue is freedom.
And well, I do, and I know Cuban people. They're hot-blooded people.
Hey, I was born here in California, but if that father needed someone to hold the politicians down while he choked their neck, I could do it.
I
don't think anybody has the right
You
to
sound
take
like
someone
Barney
else's
Fife.
kids.
Okay, Barney?
If someone tried to take my kids, they'd be in trouble.
Oh, I'll bet.
Well, I mean, the man loves his kids.
Well, all of this saber rattling is one thing. I'm talking about reality.
Well, here's reality. You know, before the Industrial Revolution, all of the child-rearing manuals were addressed to fathers because fathers had the primary role. Now, you think that mothers have this special bond with kids? Well, they do.
Well, they
that's because they spend the time with the kids.
That's right.
But you don't know that the father wasn't spending a lot of time with his son.
I do know that he's living in a dung heap in Havana while his mother tried to take him. The woman tried to take him to a better life in America. Now, who do you think is going to win on Jeopardy there? Who do you think is going to win on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
By risking his life?
By risking her life to save her child.
Risking the child's life.
It's done.
Forget about her life.
Honey, this is not America. This is the real world where you sometimes have to risk your life for freedom. We're not living up in Santa Rosa picking apples.
Freedom is not worth your life.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we know where you're coming from. Here's San Bernardino on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Yes, good for you, Phil. Very, very good, Phil.
Well, I'm not exactly agreeing with you.
This baby is the most selfish woman I ever heard. Nobody will replace the love of a father.
Oh, right.
Okay, all these toys, and we're trying to cheat this child out of his parent. I mean, for a 5-year-old kid, what does it, the whole world values, the money or fortune,
would
not replace that.
Slow down.
Would not replace the value.
More.
The value.
More.
Come on, give me a break.
Slow down. I don't understand what you're saying. Slow down, please.
Okay. No matter what you give this child.
No matter what you give the child.
You will not replace
the
love of his parents.
Of his parents.
Correct. And I agree with that gentleman who said.
I agree with the gentleman who said.
The mother who risked
the child's life
for her freedom.
For her freedom.
She didn't risk her life for the freedom of the child.
Well,
she
you
did
come
the
from,
opposite.
Look, I know you Cubans. I know how you think.
Okay.
All right. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. I understand what you're saying.
All right. You're hot-blooded. You're crazy.
But we're not.
Are you crazy?
We're not gonna use this child as like you said, a rattling saber to make a point and put down a growing country just because we want to make a point. The kid belongs to his father. That's it. If this was,
I'd agree with you. I would agree with you.
On the other foot, if this was an American kid, we would have a forced war on our hands.
But the Cuban people will not be denied.
They are denied. They denied of one of their citizens.
Well, look, I'd agree with you if this father was a little bit brighter and was on the raft with him, but he stayed behind in Havana. And
yes, you've made that point many times. In other words, you're saying that because he stayed behind in Havana, he couldn't be a fit parent?
Bingo!
Anybody that lives in a wrong judgmental statement.
Anyone that lives in Havana is not a fit parent.
He is making the best he can. Not everybody can leave Havana. It's not that easy.
Well,
only the lucky one can leave. But if you live without your parents, if you live without the family structure, you're still an orphan in another country, which means nothing.
Right. Thank you, sir, for your call.
Thank you.
1-800-449-8686. Margaret Gray going to battle here with a variety of people on the issue of Elian Gonzalez and whether he belongs in America, whether he should go back home. And you say, keep him here in America.
It is what we're about, Phil. It's a country of freedom. It's a country of poetry. Give the child freedom. That's exactly what his mother wanted. And everyone that is saying that she was a irresponsible parent for coming over the raft, I say good for her for rolling the dice for freedom. You know, Phil, there was a song once by Bob Dylan called The Times They Are A-Changing. Come, citizens, gather, blah, 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 blah. You remember that song? It was all about freedom. Paul Revere and the Raiders did one called Kicks. And I think that was about freedom. But
Paul Revere and the Raider. Look, lady.
I'm just saying that freedom was something we used to value because we had a generation of men in our lives. But now we've got, well, you've heard the men who've been calling up. That guy from Santa Rosa, that Barney Fife, freedom isn't worth dying for. Good God, when does he put his high heels on? Bring your husband next time, dear. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. That's what I'm talking, whatever that is. Miami on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
I'm on the air?
Speak up, okay?
Okay. Hi, Phil. How are you?
Anything else?
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. As far as Elian, I think he does belong with his father on the cause.
How much you've had to drink tonight, dear?
Margaret. Is that Margaret?
How much have you had to drink tonight, dear?
Not too much.
Yeah, but you've been sloshing it down, haven't you?
Pardon?
You've been drinking a little bit tonight, haven't you?
Is that an issue here?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why is that an issue?
Well, I don't know that you're going to be able to make any sense.
Well, neither do you, so...
I make plenty of sense, dear. I make plenty. I don't make any sense to you because you're hearing it through an alcohol-hazed brain.
Oh, Margaret,
but most everybody else understands what I'm saying.
You have a big, big problem. Okay.
No, the only problem I have is I respect freedom.
Okay.
And I understand the bond between a woman and...
Have you been to Cuba?
Yes.
Good.
There, you haven't. So I've got one up on you.
Oh, yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
No, you have not.
Oh, yes, I have.
They did not allow people to go down to Cuba. I was a journalist.
I've been
I was
to
allowed
Cuba.
Doing what?
Okay, I have been to Cuba.
Doing what?
I am a Cuban. Okay?
By way of what? The Okefenokee Swamp? You're a Cuban? Dear, I've been down there as a journalist. I have reported on the things that I've seen. I know the dung heaps those people live in, and I can tell you the worst thing you can do for that boy is to send him back to the living hell of Cuba, where he'll be conscripted into the Cuban army, probably sent off to Africa to fight in a war that he need not be fighting. And guess what? He won't even live to see his 21st birthday.
Okay,
if that's what you want to send that boy back to,
you know what?
Be my guest.
Mother put that boy's life in jeopardy.
For freedom.
Okay.
And freedom is worth dying
that
for.
boy could have been
Just
dead.
to answer that Santa Rosa caller's question.
The seas. The boy could have been dead.
You're dead inside. You don't risk anything for your freedom. You're dead. Have another drink. Suck another little bit of that Puerto Rican rum. And continue your internal death. Because you won't risk anything for your life. You think it was all just here before you got here, and will continue after you leave.
The boy could have been
That's right, but he lived, and it was worth the risk.
Stupid.
What do you think, Mr. Hendrie?
I think freedom is worth the risk, yes. And I think we do have a generation of... Yeah, ma'am, you know what? If you're looking to free your life up, sometimes you have to risk death to do that. And I think that's the point Margaret's making.
But you want to kill your
and we have a generation of Americans who have completely lost touch with taking a chance for a bigger life. We sit at home, we think everything is just sort of a television show. That guy up there in Santa Rosa, Margaret was right. You know, he made the definitive statement at the end of his call: freedom is not worth dying for. There was a time in our country when we believed the opposite, that freedom was worth dying for. But we have a generation of Americans now who think that it's all one big TV show.
Bravo, Phil.
Not that I agree with you, Margaret, but I'm just saying, what?
Ilion is not a big TV show.
Yeah, he is. He's a TV show to you. He's a TV show to Margaret. He's a TV show to everybody. Freedom, yes, is worth dying for some people, and some people have died for it. But
bravo, Phil.
Oh, shut up.
I agree with you.
But the child could have died instead of...
I know, but you're not hearing anything I'm saying, and neither are you, Margaret, so both of you clam up. We're taking a break. That was my little speech and I hope, it's just a speech.
Bravo, Phil. I think that it was...
Thank you. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show. Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. With Margaret Gray on the line from Santa Monica this evening. Here is Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Margaret, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Phil, yes.
Tell me, where is it written that a father cannot love and care for a child the same as a mother? I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother.
You know how it is.
No, I don't know how it is.
Well, let me explain it to you.
Yeah.
A mother has a special bond. I have 3 boys.
Good for you. But you wouldn't trust him, your husband. Is that what you're saying? If something happened to you, you do not feel as your husband can take care of them?
You know that a mother knows her children far, far better.
I do not agree with
any
you.
Man.
I do not agree with you.
Who's a boy's best friend?
Pardon?
Who's a boy's best friend?
His mother, if she's there.
That's exactly
and if not,
right.
the father is there. And tell me,
his mother.
With all, all these.
I think you need to understand something.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Wait a minute, Margaret. This woman is a grandmother. You said you're a grandmother, ma'am?
I'm a mother and a grandmother.
And a grandmother.
How many kids? How many kids did you have?
I have 2.
I have 3.
They get mazel tov deal. So big deal.
See?
But so what?
Well,
you can love 1, you can love 2, you can love 10.
How many grandkids have you got?
I have 2.
Well, big deal.
So what? But here's my question.
I have
all
3 sons.
This family that's looking after this child now, nobody's working. Everybody's home with a kid. No, they come to school. Nobody works.
It's busy right now for them. It's very busy for them right now. There's a lot of media. There's a lot of media coverage.
Because nobody goes to work. Who's feeding these people? Who's paying their expenses?
We have a wonderful thing in our country. Well, we have a wonderful thing in our country.
And when they go marching, not one carries an American flag. They're carrying Cuban flags.
What's wrong with welfare?
What's that?
What's wrong with them being on welfare?
On welfare?
Yeah.
I don't think so. They're not. They don't look like they're. And so if they can be on welfare here, look, that child belongs to his father. And I'll tell you something else.
Wait a second. You've got to figure this one out.
Uncle Sam is sending him back.
Don't piss these
There is
Cubans
no way
off.
in hell that kid's going to stay here.
Don't piss these. You're in Miami Beach right now?
Yes, I live in Miami Beach.
Well, then you're right there in the thick of it.
I'm here watching all this going on.
I would be careful because if you piss off these Cubans, they're very hot-blooded.
Oh, so big. So what?
They're very hot.
They can destroy things. Nobody can get through the roads. Nobody can travel.
Well,
you can't go to work.
That slowdown thing was a much ado about nothing. Somebody ran out of gas. Big deal.
Oh, come on. Nobody ran out of gas.
That's exactly
they were tied up for hours. They couldn't get to work.
They said they were doing that on purpose.
No, wait a minute. The newspaper said that the Cubans did a purposeful slowdown of traffic.
No.
They blocked the roads completely.
They ran out of gas.
Oh, come on. That's a lot of crap.
No, it's not. I know because I have friends down there.
These big trucks were filled with gas. They deliberately and purposely stopped this city.
The guy had a flat tire.
Oh, come on.
That's what happened.
Did not have flat tires.
That's what happened. That's why it slowed down.
I was here. I saw this.
Were you
driving?
I was here. Were you driving?
Yes.
You drive at 81?
Yes. People drive till 90. I worked until I was 80, for God's sakes.
You're driving a car at 81?
Uh-huh. Yes.
You got a license?
And it's legal.
And it's a legal license?
It's legal, yes. I passed the test and I drive.
Miami Beach. Why does that ring a bell? Isn't that where that lady ran over all those people at the bus stop?
You have no accidents where you in California?
We don't have.
You don't have accidents?
Well, pardon me, dear. We don't have old people running their cars through Denny's restaurant windows and things like that.
But this has nothing to do with the price of tea in China.
Well, you people are down there driving your cars into
and I'll tell you something else. That child is going back because the American government is not going to let him stay here.
Telling everybody that the throttle's stuck. I doubt it very much.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
A lay of dollars to donuts, he goes back. He goes back to his father. And his mother left because she wanted freedom with her lover. She did not want to be in Cuba. She wanted to be with her lover.
He was a stepfather.
He was not married to her. They were not married.
How do you know that?
Because it's been proven. It's been shown in the papers. I don't know what papers you read.
You believe everything you read?
You believe everything you read, right? You're
the one who
flat tires and running out of gas.
Wait a second.
Dream that one up?
That was the fact that the Cubans were slowing the traffic down. You think they were doing it on purpose?
Of course they were doing it on purpose.
A couple of guys get a flat tire and you're making
tear gas to break them up so traffic could go through.
That's the first time I've ever heard of tear gas being used on a motorist who's disabled.
It was in all the papers.
Well, the next time you have a flat tire, I hope they don't fire tear gas at you.
Well, I'll tell you something.
You
are so full of it that it's a shame to talk to you. Goodbye.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The things that she's saying.
You're telling me that the traffic slowdown in Miami was as the result not so much of the purposeful action of these activists, but somebody had a flat tire.
I'm saying, Phil, that that's what I heard. And
well, the lady in Miami Beach said that she read in the paper that...
She believes everything she reads. Is that it? Well, I don't. I'm my own woman. I have my own mind. Thank you. I don't let the Miami Herald make it up for me or whatever it is that they read down there, the comic books or whatever it is that she reads. I am here, the Aventura Times, I don't know. But I am...
Okay, we got your opinion. Thank you. Bakersfield on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello. Hello? Sir? Wow, that Bakersfield call is gone?
Hello?
Yeah, I got you. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, Margaret, what I wanted to tell you, I'm a boy, separated both from my mother and my father. Now let's hear an opinion from somebody who knows the situation.
Well, how old are you? Hello?
Yes, I'm 20 years old.
Well, I hope you're not living with them anymore. Big deal.
Well, you're saying that the boy belongs with the mother because, in your opinion, the mother has a closer bond with the child. That is not true. I have a closer bond with my father, and he didn't even raise me. My mother raised me. What you're saying is just an opinion.
All right, we've lost obvious contact with it. We've lost obvious contact with any ounce of creativity the show might have had.
Hendrie Air をご利用いただき誠にありがとうございます。
Phil Hendrie here, 1-800-449-8686. So this crap, if you'll pardon the use of the word, stuff that you buy on the road. We were walking, I forget where, my wife and I know, we were in Montecito. And that's a pretty classy place. But they got one of those, you call them tchotchke joints, like that guy referenced the shop tchotchke stuff. It's just junk. Not that I got anything against junk, but it's got to mean something to me. And we were walking, I saw this stuff, and in a very, very nice part of town, and I was telling her the story of, you know, going to, for instance, traveling south from Minnesota to Miami. This was back, 5-6 years ago. I pulled off in Tennessee someplace. This is one of these Arco stations, and they had a huge tchotchke-style shop there off the interstate, going south through Tennessee. And, man, they had, like, Aunt Jemima jars, cookie jars with the black lady, and they had rebel flags, and they had cameras and sunglasses and postcards and food, weird food, pre-wrapped peanut stuff, weird boiled peanut pre-wrapped. Man, I can't even begin to tell you what it was, but almost Rice Krispies squares that somebody had made 4 years ago, and it's still good. And there's those pecan cluster things. You ever been to one of those joints where they sell those pecan clusters and dates and stuff like, man, I don't eat that food. Do you? One time I went into Florida. The state of Florida has these welcome stations. And when you're going down the turnpike in Florida, you get off at a welcome station if you want to, and they'll give you a free glass of orange juice, and a guy will pitch you about how great Florida is, right? I pulled into this place, man. This kid was probably about 19, 20 years old, wearing a tie, nice-looking guy. He says, "Coming to Florida, huh, sir?" I said, "Yeah." "Oh, man, are you making a mistake?" I mean, this guy's like, "You're making a big mistake." What are you talking about, man? Oh, man, they got more gunplay. Where you going, Miami? Man, hell, they're shooting more people in Miami now, and Orlando, of course, is catching up. Oh, a whole lot of people getting off there, man. I see a guy get greased there a week ago Tuesday. And he's saying all this while he's pouring me a little cup of orange juice. Welcome to the Sunshine State. So it's an interesting subculture, and along with all of the little things that you buy, and the little pieces of food that you may or may not want to eat, like big buckets of peanuts, large tins of. Here's the thing I don't get: you into getting those big tins of popcorn? Don't you want to make your own? Have you ever purchased a big tin of popcorn? Your grandmother buys those big tins of popcorn? Maybe that caramel corn, I get that, right? But to buy a big tin of popcorn, first of all, I'm afraid of botulism. I don't know. There's something about that. If I eat that, I'm afraid I'm going to get violently ill. But it was always the thing with popcorn. I want to pop it myself and put the butter on it. But like a bag of popcorn. And I stopped off at one of these places, and the guy was selling like purple and red popcorn. Purple and red popcorn in a bag, with the little pecan clusters and little things of orange juice and odd-looking brownies that they looked like Sid dropped out of somebody's rear end, and it was wrapped in a kind of a cellophane, and the guy threw it in a little mesh basket there sitting near the cash register. And, oh, by the way, speaking of all of that impulse buying, why don't you just have yourself something that looks like a turd for lunch? Somebody's got to be buying this stuff, but I'm going to tell you something. I've never, ever, ever seen anybody do it. I've been into all those joints. I've never seen anybody buy anything more than a postcard and maybe a T-shirt. I've never seen a guy go in there and purchase the, like a little miniature wigwam or something like that. Yeah, or whatever, a Davy Crockett gun. And then the people that you see in there are fantastic, too. They're all off the road. They're buying all that stuff. I don't know what the name of this thing is, but there's a big stand at the border of Georgia and Florida. It's huge. It's a big plantation-style, off-the-turnpike food joint. They have gas. They have food. Man, they look like you could sleep there for the night. It looks like it's almost like a hotel or something. Big plantation-style joint. And you can get that multicolored corn in there and that weird-ass popcorn stuff. And you can get those pecan clusters and, food like dates and stuff. You can go in there and get all of that. And send it around the world. So when I walked in there, I don't know what I was going to get. I was going to get a Coke, pack of cigarettes back in my smoking days. God, would I like one of those right now. And I don't know what else, maybe a couple of Coke, whatever. And I see people lined up 15 deep, and they're sending multicolored popcorn to Venezuela, to their friends. They have friends in South Africa. They're sending big bags of popcorn. And the big sign, it says, send around the world. We ship anywhere. And they're getting big tins of caramel corn and mailing it to Seattle. You ever got one of those in the mail? You ever got a big tin have you ever gotten like a big thing of dates from Seattle, like from the desert? Somebody mailed it to you. They got, you can mail it anywhere in the world. Mail our pecan clusters anywhere in the world. I wanted to go through like a Moscow phone book, find some guy, most likely a dude who's really hungry and he's living on vodka, and send him a box of pecan clusters. Just pick them out of the phone book, see if the guy, hey, maybe something you'd like. You hungry? Here, try this. Try this, Boris. So they have people standing there getting that. And it's a fantastic business, but that's the only thing I've ever seen anybody buy. I've never seen them buy the keychains, nothing. But that is the culture. It's the road culture, like I was saying, and that is what my friends are making all of their money on. And the marketing, Mike. We sell a CD. We do not sell T-shirts at this show. We don't sell coffee mugs. We don't. What's the other crap we could sell? Do you know the money we could make? And I'm being very honest with you. Forget about giving it to charity. Stickers. Do you know the dough we could make? Like Premier licenses the show, but I get a little piece of that action. I like some of the Phil Hendrie bumper stickers, a couple of them keychains or something. I don't know. Toilet paper, anything. My kisser on the toilet paper, I'd sell like freaking hotcakes. Sipper cups. Made the little zippered Frisbees and stuff. Take a piece of that action. Now you're talking some real money. Mouse pads with my big fat bald head on that. Now you're talking some real change. But do I think of this stuff? No. What I do is I put out a CD. We give all the money to charity. Well, we're going to start a marketing arm of this here Phil Hendrie show very, very soon, my friend. The other thing that I could do, and this is a scam like you wouldn't believe, I could do a broadcast workshop. Have you ever seen this? You know how this works? Let me tell you how it works. Here's what I do, because I've seen other clowns in my business do this. I take out an ad in a newspaper, in a trade, something. The Phil Hendrie Broadcast Workshop. Learn how one of the great creative minds of radio does it. Send your kid to the Phil Hendrie Broadcast Workshop. 6 weeks, only, or maybe not even 6 weeks. I can make it 4 weeks, only $1,000 a kid. I get 20, 30 kids. That's 30 G's in 1 month I just made. 4-week broadcast workshop. Happens all the time. You know what I do? I bring them to the radio station here. I show them, this is a microphone. See, go ahead, try it out. Hi, testing, 1, 2. Real good, Eddie. You're on your way, man. Now read this crap here. President Clinton said today, and, next thing you know, you got the kid believing he's the next Edward R. Murrow. Or, JoJo White or whatever. And I just copped $30,000. I put that in my pocket. I'm on easy street. But do I think of that stuff? No, because I'm so above board. I'm going to do that broadcast workshop thing. You want a piece of this? Mike, you want a piece of this? I'll let you in. I'll give you 10% of this stuff. That's 3 G's just for your time and trouble, just for your good looks. Anybody want to be in a Phil Hendrie broadcast workshop, man, you drop me a postcard, care of Premier Radio Networks, and, you're in solid. It's only a G, and you can sit in front of a microphone with your finger in your ear. That's the first thing you got to do is sit in front of the microphone and shove your thumb in your ear. And you're on your way. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show. It's the Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Chatsworth, hi. Chatsworth, you're on the Phil Hendrie Show.
Yeah, Phil, how you been?
Good.
Great show tonight, as always. You was talking about places what people go to?
Yeah, kid, back off the phone a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Just back off the phone.
Yeah, you were talking about...
Get a little bit closer.
You were talking about...
All right, hold on for just a second. Tell this kid to get either just a nice, moderate place to the phone. Kid, you there?
Yeah, you were talking about places what you've been to, and my mom took us to a place, and I don't remember where it was right now. I'm trying very hard to remember. God damn it, where was this place?
Please watch your language too, kid, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It had the largest ball of string.
The largest ball of string?
Yeah, the largest ball of string in the world. And it was some place that we went to, but I don't remember where.
All right, well, let me ask you something, kid. Is this a place that exists, or is this something that...
No, it really exists.
This isn't something in your mind?
No, it's a real thing. We went there, and we went... See, my mom, we don't really go to Disneyland or nothing like that because we don't have a lot of money. So my mom takes us to bitchin' places what we go to. And this place had a big ball of string, and it had a corncob house.
A big ball of string.
And a corncob house.
And a corncob house.
But I don't know where it is.
When did you go there, kid?
A couple of summers ago, we were traveling. We've seen a lot of stuff. I seen a buffalo and an Indian kid, too. That was out in Wyoming.
A big ball of string, a buffalo, and an Indian kid, too.
Yeah. What you did was the kid come out, and he's wearing them Indian clothes, and then he'll go, hey. You throw money at him. And
That's awfully sad. Is a little Indian boy doing a dance?
Yeah, he's doing a rain dance. And
Don't you find that sad?
Sad about what?
Don't you find it sad that a little Indian boy is dancing for the pennies of tourists?
Whatever. I mean, it wasn't like I did it to him.
No, I'm not saying that you did it to him. There's something heartrending about an Indian child dancing so that tourists can throw nickels at him.
Whatever. I mean, we were only there for a couple of minutes, and then we moved on. We pushed on because we were trying to make Chicago. That's where my aunt lives.
All right, well, I don't know where your ball of yarn lives, man, and I don't know where your corncob house was, but...
Yeah, corncob house near the ball of string.
Victorville on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Phil?
How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Hey, good show. Just gave me a nice reminder.
Great show as always, Phil.
Thank you.
About Wall Drug in South Dakota, man.
Wall Drug and Sound. I know that place.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a...
I've been to Wall Drug.
Huh?
I say, you've seen the bumper stickers. I've been to Wall Drug.
Somebody sent me one. Somebody sent me one when I was in Minnesota. When I was in Minneapolis, they sent me a Wall Drug. They sent me a whole bunch of stuff from this
Was
joint.
it somebody you didn't like?
No, it's a listener. It's some listener.
No kidding? Yeah, it was the most disappointing thing you could ever imagine.
No, Wall Drug is now. What is this place? Don't they advertise it on the interstate as you're approaching South Dakota?
On the interstate, man. I'm telling you, from Wyoming, it's got to be easy.
Yeah, I heard of that place.
Hey, kid, shut the hell up.
Well, he got big signs that say you're getting up there.
Well, Wall Drug supposedly is like a nothing, right? It's
well,
a major.
It's just out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like the famous Wall Drug, but it's like in the middle of nowhere, and it's
well, what do they got there, man? Is it a place to go and get cigarettes, or what is it?
Yeah, trinket shop. Yeah,
Oh.
They sell all sorts of little doodads and knickknacks.
So they invested all of their money in billboards.
Yeah,
good idea.
They're raking it in though, man, because when we were there, the place is busier than all get out, man. There's all sorts of people from every place you'd ever want to imagine.
What's in South Dakota? Isn't Mount Rushmore in South Dakota?
Mount Rushmore, correct.
Is that why people? Is that on the way to Mount Rushmore then?
You know what? It's been such a long time ago.
You know what?
I couldn't remember.
Did you ever see a movie called North by Northwest?
Who?
You.
No.
Me?
No, the other you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, in the movie North by Northwest, the character played by James Mason lives in this beautiful house that's just a few miles from Mount Rushmore. I mean, it's a beautiful modern home built into the side of the mountain, just a few miles from Mount Rushmore. And I wondered if there are homes like that near Mount Rushmore, because if there are, it wouldn't be a bad vacation spot. I mean, in the movie North by Northwest, if you ever saw it, and I know a lot of you young creeps probably haven't, so that's tough. So I have. So just listen for a second and let me indulge myself. Cary Grant and I forget who else. Who was the woman? Eva Marie Saint. They're hanging from like George Washington's nose. They're running from Martin Landau, who is chasing them, and he wants to kill them. You see the movie, Craig? And he wants to kill them, and they're climbing down the rock face of Mount Rushmore, and they're literally like hiding behind his nose and his eye, and the guy is trying to get him, and eventually they fall off the cliff. The bad guys fall, and there's those wonderful 1950s, 1940s movie screams. They go, "Ah!" And he hits the bottom of the canyon there. But they were running along the rock face, the tops of the heads of the presidents, and then climbing down their noses and stuff. But they're running from this home that was kept by James Mason, and it's this beautiful pad. I mean, it's kind of a 50s modern home with a big stone fireplace and looked like all the amenities, a convection oven, etc. Sub-zero. And, I lived in Minnesota, and I can only imagine, that's kind of backward there, not the Twin Cities, but the rest of it, I can only imagine what South Dakota was. I mean, we used to make fun of the callers from South Dakota, but I could not imagine for the life of me that there are homes, beautiful custom homes near Mount Rushmore. But if there are, Kim Novak. No, it wasn't Kim Novak. No, it was not Kim Novak. Would some dumbass call up with that? No, they're wrong. Kim Novak was in Vertigo. In North by Northwest, it was Eva Marie Saint. It was Eva Marie Saint. It wasn't no Kim Novak. I got a major news flash. All right, 1-800-5201-KFI. Let's go to Chatsworth. Hello.
Yeah, Phil, great show as always.
Oh, Jesus.
I think it was Kim Novak.
So anyway, 1-800-449-8686. That's the guy, huh? Hey, let me get on, man. I think it was Kim Novak. Don't forget, on Saturday, we are at the Sit and Sleep in Tarzana. It starts at noon, ends at 3. We're signing our CDs. All the money goes to my friend's place. That's on Ventura Boulevard in Tarzana on Saturday, noon to 3. It's Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
Bonjour et merci de voler rien de Phil Hendrie.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. What, kid?
I found out where the the second biggest ball of twine is, but I don't know about the biggest one. And the bigger people...
You got to back off of the phone. Hold on for a minute there. Tell this kid to back off the phone. You got to back off of the phone, and then we can talk, okay?
But I don't know where the biggest one is.
All right, here's West Fargo on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello?
Yeah, I was just calling to let this guy know that I think it's in Darwin, Minnesota.
Where?
Darwin, Minnesota.
Where are you at?
I'm in West Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah, that's right. That's near there.
Well, not really. It's about 200 miles.
West Fargo, North Dakota?
Well, away from
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Where's Darwin, Minnesota?
Darwin, Minnesota is by Litchfield. It's about an hour out of the cities.
What cities?
Twin Cities.
Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Is it cold where you are?
Yeah.
I guess so, man. Where are you, West Fargo?
Yeah.
Jesus, is it snowing or what?
Actually, we just got done with snow yesterday, so...
You know, you ought to have a nip of brandy or something, keep you warm.
Trust me, I do enough of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's a big ball of string, and it's in Darwin, Minnesota.
Yeah, it's enclosed in, like, a corn bin, and they have, like, glass all around it and all that stuff, so I don't know if...
In a corn bin?
Yeah.
Hey, do you know where that house is in South Dakota that's like, it's made out of corn cobs or something?
I don't know, but there's a place in Minnesota called Olivia, Minnesota, called the Corn Capital, and they've got a huge corn cob out in the middle of nowhere in this small little rural town, but I don't know, that might be something too.
They got a huge corn cob where?
Right in the middle of they made a big corn maze, a big maze on a cornfield, and they've got a huge corn cob in the middle of it.
Now, the kid in Chatsworth, you've been to these places?
Well, we don't go to Disneyland or nothing like that, so my mom and I took a road trip. We went to see my aunt in Chicago, and we seen the corn cob.
But you didn't know where it was?
No, I didn't know where it was. What? What's so funny?
Nothing, just not knowing where you went.
Well, no, I didn't know what state it was in. All I seen was a huge corn cob.
All right, well, the huge corn cob is in Minnesota, and the ball of twine is in Darwin, Minnesota. And
boy, do they need stuff to do in Minnesota, huh, sir? But anyway, the second biggest one, Mr. Hendrie, is in Cawker City, Kansas, the second biggest one.
Second biggest one what?
The ball of twine stuff one.
Oh, okay. Hey, well, listen, pal, thanks for the call tonight.
Well, hey, I just wanted to set some things straight, man.
Well, what did we get wrong?
Well, I just wanted you to know where it was.
Hey, what about that thing Mr. Hendrie was saying about if they have houses at the place where them people were?
I've never been to Mount Rushmore.
That's Mount Rushmore. I don't know. Yeah, it was in a movie. Anyway, pal, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
Okay, bye. Clearwater, you're on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Is it Phil?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Listen, I just wanted to call and give you some information for this boy that's called in, where the Corn Palace is. It's in Mitchell, South Dakota.
Yeah, where's the corn cob, though?
The corn cobs, that's made out of corn cobs. The facade of the building is all covered with products from the cornfields.
But didn't they have a place where there was a giant corn cob?
Well, it's called the Corn Palace.
The corn cob?
No, it's called the Corn Palace, and it's covered with corn cobs and colored corn
and
products.
A lot of different corn products?
Yes.
Have you been there?
Oh, many times.
Yeah, I went there. It was pretty interesting. They gave a tour of it.
It's on the way to the Mount Rushmore and the Badlands and the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Yeah, I seen Mount Rushmore. That's pretty bitchin' because it's really cool to look at. And then I also seen Old Faithful, but that's not near there.
No, that's in Wyoming at Yellowstone. But Phil was
wondering...
One
time, though, it was really funny. They were cleaning off Mount Rushmore, Mr. Hendrie, because they have guys that go up there and they'll, do some sandblasting and stuff. What'll clean it off?
Right.
Anyway, one of the guys was, up in the nostril of George Washington. Looked like George Washington had a booger hanging from his nose, but it was only one of the guys that was cleaning off the pigeon crap and stuff.
The what?
The guy that was clean.
I got it. Okay, so the guy looked like it was a booger hanging out of his nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Phil, You know, you were asking about the house that's up there on the top of Mount Rushmore from the movie North by Northwest.
Yeah.
What about that house? There isn't any house like that up there. It's just kind
some
of a
fanciful
peak at the top.
Uh-huh.
And that's where the workmen go down, or they did go when they were building Rushmore, blasting it out, and now they clean it.
Well, this house in the movie is a beautiful home, you know, you've seen it. And
so how did it get there if they don't have one there?
But it's not there. It was a movie set.
Well, how did it get up there?
It wasn't up there. It was the movies.
I know it was the movies.
Not real.
I know it was the movies, but the house was in the mountains.
Yes, but it wasn't on the top of Mount Rushmore because there are no houses up there.
Whereabouts do you think it was?
I said
on a movie set.
And
on a movie set is where it was. So they imagined that somebody would have some really cool pad up there in South Dakota.
Well, there are houses like that in the Black Hills.
What about that place
but
where
not
he
on
shot
the
the
top
guy?
of Mount Rushmore.
Do they have a place where you can get food and stuff?
Where Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, where he shot the guy?
Oh, yes, that was, of course, now this was like 40-some years ago.
What do you mean, do they have a
movie.
place where you can get food and stuff where he shot the guy? What do you...
There's a part in the movie where he shot the guy.
Yeah.
And you can get, like, Jell-O and hamburgers.
Yes, well, it was a cafeteria and...
yeah, that's it, cafeteria, buffet-style dining.
That's right.
Good for you. Okay. Ma'am, thank you very much.
Yes, enjoy.
Yeah, they had that in the movie, too.
Great. I didn't know you were an expert. Yes, ma'am?
I was just going to say that the climbing around on the monuments was certainly not done. It was all movie set. It was
what
all
about that Corn Palace again? Give me the name of that town it's in.
Mitchell, South Dakota.
Mitchell, South Dakota. You know the interstate?
It's on the interstate across central South Dakota.
Yeah, which one is that?
Oh, whatever. I bet you it's 35 or some crap like that.
Look at a map.
When I get my license, I'm going back there.
Yes, it's beautiful country.
It holds many fond memories for me.
Yeah, South Dakota is a very nice state.
Are you from there, ma'am?
No.
Where are you from originally?
Will you get out of here? Thank you
Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks. It holds many fond memories. Brea on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hey, Phil. Great show.
How are
as
you?
Always.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, check it out. In the summer, I was on a road.
Great show is up.
Oh,
God. RC, go bull with Bud
chill,
or
man.
something.
I have many fond memories of the Corn Cob Palace. Yeah, go ahead.
I was on a road trip through Kansas in August for business.
Road trip.
Yeah.
And off of Highway 80, we kept seeing these signs for the 6,000-pound prairie dog, right? So finally, it's like there's all these signs that say like six-legged cow and stuff like that. So we're rolling along, and finally we see the off-ramp. We get off. We go up, and it's this little tiny like backyard farm. It looks really disgusting, and there's like sheep running around all over the place. So we're looking for the 6,000-pound prairie dog. But we're looking all around for it. They have buffalo and all this stuff. So we go back up to the counter. We're going, hey, where's the 6,000-pound prairie dog? And this little like Opie Taylor-looking lady with, I mean, seriously, just bad, right? I mean, her uncle and sister related some, in some other foreign way. Anyways, check it out. So we're sitting there, and we go, so where the hell's this prairie dog at? And she's all, oh, didn't you see the statue? And we're like, the statue? We're looking for a huge prairie dog.
Oh, you thought you were going to find an 8,000-pound prairie dog?
Yeah, and it's a statue.
Well,
and we're
dude.
like, we want our money back. And she's like, oh, you guys
You thought you were going to find a giant prairie dog, like something out of a Peter Graves science fiction movie.
We were hoping to see something that was injected with steroids for 20 years or something.
8,000-pound prairie dog.
Well, we were
Get out of here. Nice try, though. 1-800-449-8686. I wanted to do a documentary once, and I might still do this, of all those weird tourist places that are not necessarily multi-million-dollar extravaganzas and amusement parks. For instance, if you go out Interstate 10 toward the desert, and I don't know where it is exactly. I think it's past, you're on your way to Beaumont. There's a place called Bible Land. Have you ever seen that? And it's like off the interstate there. It's off of 10. It says Bible Land. And you get off, and I guess you park, and you go and visit all the high points of the Bible, like where Noah's Ark. And it's some place, it looks like some guy just built it out of dirt with a shovel and went and bought some crap at a store and put it there. And maybe it was, like he was cured of cancer and decided that this would be his monument to God, but it's called Bible Land. And you go and like for instance, the cave where Lazarus was raised from the dead. Just some little dirt hole a guy dug. Just dug a hole with this. This is where Lazarus was raised. And then, where Jesus was, nailed to the cross. The guy just stuck 3 crosses in some dirt with a little walkway, some paving stones that he got over at a Home Depot. And that's Bible land. And I don't know if it costs anything to go in there, but I would love to stop there someday and just film the whole thing, talk to the guy and crap. Then there's another place out in the desert with a giant dinosaur. Have you seen that one? What's that up? Can you go inside that thing? Or it's a huge dinosaur at a gas pump. And, just weird things like that. Those trout farms. Here's something from Terry Ray Elmer. This is from our news department, ladies and gentlemen. Dateline, Lansing, Michigan. The world's largest lug nut is located in downtown Lansing, on top of an old smokestack 1 block south of Oldsmobile Park, home of the Lansing Lug Nuts Class A team of the Chicago Cubs. It looks to me like it would fit the world's largest tire in Detroit, so says Brent Robinson. The world's largest. Did you get a load of that?
Yeah, we went there too. My mom stopped off.
Okay, fine. So that's pretty cool. And that's the name of the team there in Lansing. They're called the Lansing Lug Nuts, Class A. 1-800. Oh, they tore Bible land down? Let me see if this guy in Anaheim. Hi, you're on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Good, pal. How are you?
Very good. Hey, we used to drive out to Palm Springs 2-3 times a year, and we used to pass Bible land. The last time we went, it's all gone. They've got condos built there now.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did you ever stop in there?
I didn't stop there, but those dinosaurs, we did stop in those.
Yeah.
And it used to be like a diner for like 50 years ago. And it's just like a museum, and I don't think they've cleaned it in 50 years.
Oh, that's too bad about Bible land, man. I would have loved to have gone in there and talked to the guy and stuff.
Yeah, I never saw anybody there like collecting tickets or anything, but I would always see 1 or 2 cars parked there, and that would be about it.
Yeah, 1 or 2 people. Maybe that was the guy who ran it or whatever.
I have no idea.
Just welcome to come into Bible land. It won't cost you a nickel. Just get out of your car, take a tour, no problem. Well, how much do I owe you, old man? No, it's absolutely free.
Yeah.
Okay, pal, thanks.
Hey, thanks for the great show.
Thank you. Great show as always. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendrie Show. It's Phil Hendrie Show here. 1-800-449-8686. What, RC?
Yeah. Is Bud there?
Bud.
Yeah, right here, RC.
Yeah. Tell Phil what we seen last summer.
Yeah, I was going to tell you about it.
What?
Well, we were at Pismo Beach.
What did you guys see?
And we were at Pismo Beach, California.
What, RC? What did you guys see?
Hey, I'm sorry. We're at Pismo Beach, California. We saw a giant clam statue.
Big deal. You guys saw a giant clam statue. What is so funny about seeing a giant clam statue? Grow up, will you? They go to Pismo Beach and they see a giant clam statue. You guys done? Okay, I'm going to put you on hold until you grow up. Hey, we went to Pismo Beach and saw... Get out of here, okay, bud?
Where?
Get out of here.
Why?
You saw the giant clam statue? Get out of here. And here's one here. Hey, Mike, I've been here. Shields Date Gardens in Indio, California has a movie called The Romance and Sex Life of the Date. And you can go into this place and get a date shake, which is delicious. And you get this date shake. It's fantastic. When are we breaking? 53 what? 53, 35? Oh, we're breaking now. Crap, I want to take this guy's call about, never mind. In Fort Lauderdale. So anyway, they have this movie. You drink a date shake and you watch the romance and sex life of the date. Basically, it's about how to plant dates. It's got nothing to do with really anything. Is that turned up? Turn the music up, Craig. Okay, don't be shy with that crap. Oh, it's not crap, it's the cult? Phil Hendrie Show.
A giant clam!
What?
Is this the